So about 2 weeks ago, True Motorsports launched the launch limiter. We came out with that product because some of the competitors came out with a product that was somewhat similar. Suncoast and TS Performance kind of have a box that has a similar function to what the launch limiter actually does. Now, once we launched that product, we got a lot of questions from people asking, what is the launch limiter? Is it a Transbrake? Is it a two-step? What is it? Well, a lot of people refer back to the Suncoast product and they called that a Transbrake when they first had that. And they've since pulled that product back off the shelf. But this product is not a Transbrake. A Transbrake is when your transmission is essentially locked up and that acts as your brake. A Transbrake you use when you're making too much horsepower and your car starts to push through the actual foot brake. So what happens in a Transbrake is within the transmission, the power is being stopped right there within the transmission. So essentially you're in first gear, reverse is engaged at the same time in your transmission, and that is technically your brake. That is a Transbrake. The launch limiter is not a Transbrake. So what this product does is we use the actual foot brake to keep the vehicle from moving forward. So not a Transbrake. So another idea was, is this a two-step? It's somewhat similar to a two-step, but not exactly the same. What the launch limiter does is it does prevent you from going above a certain RPM based upon the load that is presented back into your drivetrain. The launch limiter can be summed up in one simple idea. The launch limiter is essentially a red line for your foot pedal. So when the launch limiter is engaged, you can depress your foot pedal all the way to the floor, all the way watt, and you will not exceed whatever that pedal percentage is. That then translates to the calculated load that you're going for before you launch. It will hit a particular RPM, whether that be 1800 or 2000 RPM or whatever you adjust your settings to be. That will be your launch RPM. But what this does is the brake that prevents you from moving forward in this system is your actual foot brake, your brake discs that are on your wheels. So again, not a Transbrake. So that's what the launch limiter is. Stay tuned for some upcoming videos of seeing the product in action.